All right, so this is where we have Ghost, Kingpin, and future Ant-Man bands. All right, so starting off Boss Island, Photon Boss, you've got Mantis and Valkyrie. Valkyrie, since she's unduped. Mangog back there, you've got S99 and Scorpion. JJ, you've got Valkyrie and Jabari Panther. Chavez, you have S99, Human Torch, and Quicksilver. Kindred, you have Scorpion, and Suri might work. Attuma, if you want to risk it with Namor, he can work. Colossus and Iceman, probably your best bets. Weapon X, you have Lady Deathstrike, you have Omega Sentinel, you have Absorbing Man, and then Kingpin. Probably any of those, or really any of the armor champs, and just kind of look out for shrugging the debuffs. It'll be a pretty long fight with Omega Sentinel, but Suri might work once you get some passive shocks. You've got Iceman, who will probably work with the frostbites, and then maybe Gallon will probably work. 1 through 3 in section 2 on the way out. Adam, that's an easy Gallon fight. Can probably get away with someone like Tigra or Rintrah as well. Path 1, whole thing can be taken with Omega Sentinel or Civil Warrior. Path 2, Mojo, you have S99 and Titania. Kate Bishop, you have an Odin pre-fight there, and you can use Iceman or Namor. And then Fanta there, you can use Hulkling and wait for the armor up to fall, or you can use CGR. 4 through 6 on the way out, Rintrah, you've got Human Torch and Titania. Zemo on the way in, Omega Sentinel, Magneto, Civil Warrior. Path 4, the whole thing, you can take, Fury or Mole Man for spam, and then Doom or Absorbing Man for null. Path 5, Human Torch in some combo, Titania in some combo will work. Path 6, Magneto, you've got Omega Sentinel. You also have Shuri, and then Fury. You have plenty of options, plenty of the mutant options. Apocalypse, you could probably get away with Cable with the synergy with Apocalypse. Any of the Storms, Danny will probably work as well. 7 through 9 on the way out, Gore, you've got Hood, you've got Rintrah, you've got Tigra. Doom on the way in. You can probably get away with Magneto. I think with him being tactic, it's a bit risky with that armor up failing. But Carl, Absorbing Man, can work. So can Thing. Path 7 there, CGR or Omega Red for Killmonger. And then Shuri, you have Hulkling or CGR. Path 8, Hulkling, you have Tigra, Rintrah, Hood, all the bunch. Path 9, Wong, either Ant-Man or Cassie. And then for Domino, you have Warlock, you have Omega Sentinel, you have Shuri as well. 1 through 3 in section 2 on the way in, you've got a spot, Civil Warrior, Omega Sentinel will work. Korg, you can use Apocalypse, Omega Red, Namor, Iceman, Sauron. I would go with Colossus or S99 with Anti-Venom for the power gain reversal. 1 through 3 on the way out, Man-Thing, you've got S99 and Titania. Path 1, Thing, you've got Crossbones, you've got Tigra, you've got Warlock. Terrax, you've got Absorbing Man or Namor. Path 2, Longshot, S99 or Titania. And then Elsa, any of the mutant options for Armor Burn. So Sunspot, Iceman, Namor. And then path 3, S99, Titania, really Nebula, anyone for Dragon Man. He's not going to have an armor up there. 4 through 6 on the way out. Storm, your best bet is Omega Sentinel. Probably Colossus as well, since his ability accuracy cannot be modified either. Path 4, Mephisto, you've got Blade, you've got Void, and then Tigra, S99 or Titania. Path 5, Silk, you've got Crossbones, you've got Fury, and then for Maw, you have Quicksilver, you have Titania. Yeah, those are probably your best options. A slow option will work too, someone with a slow. Path 6, Kitty Pryde, again, Colossus or Omega Sentinel, even Civil Warrior. 7 through 9 on the way out, Sasquatch, Human Torch, you can probably get away with, maybe even Cassie or Ant-Man as well. Path 7, Jabari Panther, you've got Apocalypse, you've got Namor, and then Bishop, I would go with Warlock, Civil Warrior, Omega Sentinel. Path 8, Nova, you've got Absorbing Man, you've got Doom. And then Path 9, you can take the whole thing with Absorbing Man. You can go Jabari Panther, Shang-Chi for Void, and you can go Omega Sentinel for Magneto. So that does it for defense. Let's take a look at attack. All right, so War 3 is against the defending War Champs, GT40. Today I'm taking in Omega Sentinel, Quicksilver, and Iceman. I've got Path 6 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, and 2 mini-bosses on Boss Island. So a pretty big war. It was actually, despite the result and the performance here, a pretty fun war. I take a lot of problematic nodes with a lot of fun champions, 3 of them. So yeah, we'll get started right here. If you recall in past videos with the previous season and how to fix this global, there were 3 nodes I called out, 3 of maybe 5 or 6 nodes I called out as problem nodes. This is one of them. It's got aggressive prowess on it, and the reason it's a problem node with the power gain is that the defender can gain this power or massive power increase without being touched, since aggressive prowess will trigger the global, and that just is from me not even touching Kitty. So I keep the weapon assigned for this, that way we can strip off all of Kitty's natural prowess automatically. She won't be able to gain it, so we can just stun her here if we wanted to. So you only have the global in the node where crits will give her a prowess, and then just aggressive prowess will give her a prowess. But you can see, went down nice and easy. It was only a rank 4 low health pull. Just gets erased. Now, Storm here is on a second aggressive prowess node, and Storm is one of the other champions that is a problem with this global, at least when it was overtuned. So we have aggressive prowess, and then we have a champion who will gain prowess when she throws her special 1. So she's going to be power gaining without being touched. And here I kind of do this idle run in, and I get caught by the light attack combo, and that puts me in a very bad spot. Forced to try and deck some of that, so I survive, and then we're taking shock damage. So really scary moment there. Luckily the shock doesn't KO us. Our invulnerability is completely gone, so we can't have that happen again. The game plan the whole time was to push her to special 1, bait out the special 1, retaliate the special 1 to the point where I remove the prowess, and hopefully she stays at special 1. We get that special 1 out, and then if there is ever an opportunity to hit her just a couple times to have 0 prowess and not close to a bar of power, we will back off parry and heavy so that we can get the fury and remove ebb and flow knockdown. And here, because of how tight things were getting, I decide to remove ebb and flow knockdown with a special 3 instead of a heavy. I have the space with her having 0 power going into this. So yeah, there's no point in throwing any other special attacks, and I do have recoils on because I figured between my Omega Sentinel fights and 2 of my Iceman fights that I didn't actually need to throw special attacks except for maybe special 3s. So we've got control of the fight. We're in a good rhythm here. Storm is playing nice and actually throwing special 1s pretty quickly. There you see I have a heavy opening to remove ebb and flow knockdown. But yeah, this can definitely be a scary node, and this is the tuned down version, not the weak one, but this was going to be a problem node the globals stayed at the strength it was at. I still think 3.4% is a little too low. I would have preferred anywhere between 5 to 10. And yes, I know that would have meant I died here, but I said what I said. So being a bit stubborn here, just need to go ahead and get it out. So I decided to combo, and I was going to throw a special 3 in the last hit crit. So move on from that. Now, these next 2 fights, I don't remove recoils. And I think that's a mistake, especially for this Sauron, because I really needed more than 1 armor up for the Sauron fight. He is also on an aggressive prowess node. He gains his own prowess from being hit. And then you've got the global. And 1 armor up is just not anywhere near enough to strip off the amount of power gain from the prowess that's going to come here. So I would have preferred to have recoils off so that I could spam special 1s and then maybe throw in a heavy here and there when insult to injury wasn't going to be a factor. But you can see here he's gaining way too much power. He's not throwing special attacks quickly. There's not really any time to bait. I feel like the smartest thing to do here at this point was just to hit him, because it would remove just a tiny bit of power and hold him below a special 3. And then here is my first mistake. I should have waited to throw this special 3 in case I lost my ice armor, and then we get pounded there because of insult to injury and thinking we landed a parry. So there was my second mistake. Going into this, I thought I had my ice armor, and then once we get hit, we realized, nope, we don't. It was just the global armor disguising itself as an ice armor, and then we KO. I would not take this again with Iceman. This is going to be a Colossus fight. Anyone with more than 2 armor ups, so that you can actually control the prowess here, because it is just bananas, and 1 armor up is not going to do it. And like I said, if I had taken this the first time, I would have, if I could redo my first time, I would have done this without recoils and spamming special 1. It would have upped the damage with the frostbites and with the constant frostbites, and we would have stripped way more power / prowess. So die and learn. We move on to Korg here. Now Korg, we don't have so much of a problem as Sauron. It's because he's not on a problematic node with power gain with the aggressive prowess. So this is a pretty tame node. We're really just fighting a Korg. We need to make sure that we get the rock stacks down. We need to make sure we always have an armor up. So if we do happen to get hit with a crit or any damage that removes our ice armor, we need to kind of slow play until an armor up comes back, or just land a parry heavy and use the global armor as an ice armor for prowess removal. But here, this is where I say these 2 fights, recoil being off would have been better. What I think I would have preferred in this future matchup, if I get this with Iceman again, is to spam special 1s for constant frostbites. With all the crit resistance that Korg has, even if I get a frostbite on here with a special 3 when his rock stacks fall, it's really hard to place any frostbites from basic attacks. And at special 1 is a guaranteed 2 frostbites. So I would have preferred to just keep spamming special 1 on this node, maybe land some heavies when possible. Of course, root kind of is an added layer of pain here. Luckily, the unstoppable and blockable, not a big deal getting Korg to 2 bars of power and keeping him there for most of the fight. You can see there I try to do a light attack and I am out of range. So that's kind of unfortunate. We avoid bubble shield there. So this is a pretty safe fight, I think, with Iceman. It's very, very hard to die. I do get hit quite often, especially with a special 2. So the bleed immune comes in clutch. And yeah, this is pretty much the fight. See if we get hit with a special 2 there, no big deal. Just kind of shrug it off. Try to get another light attack whiff there. But I believe this fight clocks in at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And we're pretty close to max boosted. There's probably another 5% we could throw in here. So yeah, my recommendation when taking this with Iceman is to probably go the special 1 spam route. And definitely throw that special 1 when the rock stacks are gone, so that cold snap doesn't get eaten from Korg's ability to shrug. So special 3s, I had the idea I was going to use them while he had rock stacks to rip them completely off. That way we don't have to worry about cold snap disappearing. And then I was hoping there would be some crits while cold snap was up so that we could get some frostbites, but they were few and far between. So wrapping the fight up here, almost done. Down goes Korg. So not a bad Iceman fight. Next spot here, I'm not going to speed this up. The next 2 Omega Sentinel fights I am, just because there's not much to them. But spot here, I decided not to speed up, just so that if you're not aware on where your little pockets of triggering his untouchable are during special attacks, you can get it from this video. So he actually gained quite a few of spots through this fight. So the RNG was not on our side. So he's already at 5 here. We're going to fit it in right there to trigger untouchable, so that we don't have to land a parry and then try and get smacked in the face. Sorry, my dog is drinking water behind me. And here we went with the heal block. There's not actually a reason to do heal block, just so that our debuffs don't, and there we were a little late, our debuffs don't actually trigger willpower if it's active. You don't want to put the tracking debuff on here. You really want to just wait out untouchable against Spot. If you try to hit him while he's untouchable, you're just going to get flooded with a bunch of ruptures. So it's not a good idea. Wrapping up the fight here, we are almost done. And then this special 3 will do it. Dog is drinking water very loud. Next 2, just Omega Sentinel fights. We have recoil on, max recoil, so we're not worried about throwing special attacks. We're just brute forcing it down. Surprisingly, Infamous Doom here. A lot of crit resistance. Was not expecting that. Made the fight take a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Move away from this water bowl. So, sped it up though. Few special ones, we don't fully dex, we get hit in the face. Biggest thing was not getting hit with a special 2, especially since our power would be at max. We don't want to deal with getting power burned and taking a bunch of damage from him stripping power away. But yeah, pretty simple fight. We did place the heal block here. This one, he can go unblockable if we're dexing too much from the heals, plus his own regen at the end could result in him healing nearly to full if you don't have a heal block on. And then we finish it up here with a special 3. So, easy peasy. Next up we have Havok on Buffet. Only thing to think about here with Havok is that you want to push him to special 2. Throwing a special 1 once is not a big deal. Where it becomes a big deal is if he's throwing special 1s back to back to back, and he ends up gaining prowess from throwing special 1 because you didn't actually touch him between the special 1s and strip some of the power buildup that's on him. On top of that, you do not want to throw special attacks here, even special 3. Placing a plasma on Havok will ramp up that plasma buildup, which will immediately convert into 5 prowess buffs when he throws a special attack. And then you're going to have some massive power gain. So down he goes. Next up, Attuma. We're going to use Iceman here. Cold Snap reduces the hydration timer by 30%. So he's going to lose hydration even faster while Cold Snap is on, and we have recoils off here because we are going to be spamming special 1. And with this node, all you have to really do is pay attention to falter. So anytime Attuma gets that vigilance buff, you want to pay attention to when it's about to expire and either land a heavy or a special 1. And if you can't do that, wait out the falter that you get from it, and then go lay into him again. The vigilance is very predictable. It's anytime you cross 1 bar of power, he's going to gain that buff. So you can see it coming. But yeah, here it was just special 1 spam. Let the frostbite do its work. land heavies when we want to so that we can add some damage to those frostbites, and be mindful of how much hydration he has. So he gets really close to 20 here. I think this next one is going to push him over, or I just go ahead and just full on, yeah, I just prevent it. But you can pretty much with Iceman just keep Attuma teetering at special 2, special 3, and him never throw a special attack. And then my final fight, Quicksilver here, completely overpowering the Chavez. Yeah, Conflictor, not an issue. What you're going to do here is you're going to go in, you're going to parry because you have the White Magneto pre-fight, and you're going to trigger Conflictor on purpose by doing medium light. And in those 5 hits, you should get at least 1 whiplash. And that'll push her to special 1. And from there, you're just going to dex until she throws it. You're going to build the withers from dexing both the special 1 and any dexes you had from baiting. And then from there, you're just going to go straight into full combos. Don't even worry about giving her prowess. Why? She's not going to lose those withers. So between your combo pushing her over special 1 and then Conflictor dropping her right under special 1 because you've got enough withers up, it's going to pause all of those withers pretty much for the entire fight. And if they don't, then you just keep dexing and you can refresh them or add to them. And then it's just medium, light, medium into special 2. You see there, I didn't care to make sure that trauma was going to place. We don't want to dance around with that. We just want to lay the damage on and finish this fight. So it's unfortunate that trauma didn't trigger there or stick. It's fine. We just move on, continue the game plan. And it's just so nice using Conflictor against them and watching it feed Quicksilver's ability to pause both trauma and wither. And then this right here puts her near death. The next combo just kind of finishes it out. Plus, even though the wither gets eaten by Conflictor, it still removes the dimension. So we have a dimensionless America Chavez. So that was the end of my war. RBG lost 2-4. And as a whole, the Alliance lost 4-9. So pretty sloppy war for us. There were a few assignment things and then a few execution things. If these things happen, you'd prefer it be against a good alliance like this, where the odds of winning aren't that great. But yeah, like I said, that was a fun war for me, despite the fact that I died. It's a little bit easier to swallow a bad call on an assignment, which was my call, actually. I thought Iceman would work, than it being an execution error. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe, give it a like, and I will catch you guys at the next war.